Narrator. Have you ever read a book that you just couldn't put down? A story that stayed with you long after you finished the last page? Books are incredible journeys, filled with new ideas, exciting adventures, and memorable characters. Being able to describe your favorite book in English is a wonderful way to connect with others, share your passions, and explore different worlds through stories. It allows you to express your thoughts and feelings about literature and understand the reading experiences of your friends. That's why, in today's episode of the English Learning Podcast's Beginner Series, we're diving deep into describing your favorite book. You'll learn essential vocabulary for discussing genres, talking about characters and plot, and explaining what makes a book special to you. Mastering these simple yet crucial phrases will significantly boost your conversational ability in daily life. In this extensive episode, you're about to hear a natural and easy-to-follow conversation between two friends, Maya and Noah. They'll share details about their favorite books, discuss different types of stories, and explain what they find appealing. They'll use clear, simple English with repetition, making it easy for you to understand and start talking about your own favorite books confidently. After their discussion, stick around. We'll have a short, interactive practice session immediately following their chat, designed to help you actively use these new words and phrases yourself. Listen closely to their simple English and the helpful vocabulary they use. Get ready to expand your English skills and share your literary loves. Maya: Hi Noah. How are you today? I just finished reading a really good book and it made me think about all the amazing stories out there. Do you like reading books, Noah? And do you have a favorite one? Oh, hi Maya. I'm doing well, thank you. Finishing a good book is a great feeling. Yes, I love reading books. It's one of my favorite ways to relax and learn new things. And yes, I definitely have a favorite book. It's called The Little Prince. It's a very famous book, quite short. What about you, Maya? Do you have a favorite book? Maya: The Little Prince is a beautiful book, Noah. I remember reading it when I was younger. It's a classic. My favorite book is Charlotte's Web. It's a children's book, but I still love it. It's about a pig and a spider. I read it many times when I was young. What kind of book is The Little Prince, Noah? What genre is it? Noah: Charlotte's Web is another wonderful classic, Maya. It's very sweet and thoughtful. The Little Prince is a fable and a children's book, but it's also a deep philosophical book for adults. It has a lot of wisdom about life and friendship. It's a mix of different meanings. What kind of book is Charlotte's Web, Maya? What genre would you say it is? Maya: A fable, a children's book, and a philosophical book. That's a good description for The Little Prince, Noah. It really does have many layers of meaning. Charlotte's Web is a children's fiction book. It's also a kind of farm animal story and a story about friendship. It's a very heartwarming book with a little bit of sadness and a lot of hope. Who are the main characters in The Little Prince, Noah? Can you tell me about them? Noah: Charlotte's Web as a children's fiction book about farm animals and friendship sounds very accurate, Maya. And heartwarming is a great word for it. The main characters in The Little Prince are the little prince himself, who is a young boy from a tiny planet. Then there's the pilot, who is the narrator of the story. There are also many other characters the little prince meets on his journey, like the fox who teaches him about friendship. Who are the main characters in Charlotte's Web, Maya? Maya: The Little Prince, the pilot, and the fox. Those are memorable characters, Noah. Especially the fox, his lessons are so important. The main characters in Charlotte's Web are Wilbur, who is a small pig. Then there's Charlotte, who is a spider living in Wilbur's barn. There's also Fern, the girl who loves Wilbur. And other farm animals like Templeton the rat. What is the story about in The Little Prince, Noah? Can you tell me the basic plot? Noah: Wilbur, Charlotte, Fern, and Templeton are fantastic main characters, Maya. The conflict and friendship between them make the story engaging. The story of The Little Prince is about a pilot who crashes his plane in the desert. There he meets a small boy, the little prince, who tells him stories about his home planet and his travels to other planets. The little prince meets many strange adults who don't understand important things. He learns about love and friendship, especially from a rose on his planet and a fox on Earth. It's a very charming and wise story. What is the story about in Charlotte's Web, Maya? What's the main plot? Maya. That's a very clear explanation of the plot of The Little Prince, Noah. A charming and wise story indeed. The story of Charlotte's Web is about Wilbur, a pig who is born small and weak. He's going to be killed. But a smart spider named Charlotte decides to save him. She writes words about Wilbur in her web like, "some pig," and "terrific," to make people see how special he is. Because of Charlotte's efforts, Wilbur becomes famous and lives a long life. It's a beautiful story about friendship, life, and loss. Why do you like The Little Prince so much, Noah? What makes it your favorite? Noah. That's a great summary of the plot of Charlotte's Web, Maya. A beautiful story about friendship and life. I like The Little Prince so much for a few reasons. First, the story is very unique and imaginative. It makes me think about important life questions in a simple way. Second, the characters are very symbolic and memorable. The Little Prince, the fox, and the rose teach valuable lessons. Third, the illustrations are beautiful and add a lot to the story. And it always makes me feel a little sad but also hopeful. It has a big heart. Why do you like Charlotte's Web so much, Maya? What makes it your favorite? Maya. Unique and imaginative story, symbolic characters, beautiful illustrations, and its ability to make you feel sad but hopeful. Those are all excellent reasons to love The Little Prince. Noah certainly has a big heart. I like Charlotte's Web so much because first, it's a beautiful story about true friendship. Charlotte's loyalty to Wilbur is very inspiring. Second, the characters are so real and lovable, even the animals. Wilbur is naive and Charlotte is wise. Third, the writing is simple but very profound. E.B. White writes about life, death, and nature in a way that even children can understand but adults can appreciate deeply. It teaches about accepting change and appreciating life. How often do you read books, Noah? Do you read every day? Noah. A beautiful story about true friendship, real and lovable characters, and simple but profound writing. Those are fantastic reasons to love Charlotte's Web, Maya. It's a truly classic children's book. I try to read books almost every day, usually before I go to sleep for about 30 minutes, or sometimes on the bus during my commute. It helps me relax and expand my mind. Sometimes I read more on weekends. How often do you read books, Maya? Maya. Reading almost every day, especially before bed or on the bus, is a great habit, Noah. Definitely helps relax and expand your mind. I also try to read books almost every day. I usually read in the evening after dinner for about an hour. Sometimes I read on my tablet and sometimes I read a physical book. I like to read different types of stories. Where do you usually read, Noah? At home or somewhere else? Noah. Reading almost every day in the evening on a tablet or a physical book sounds like a very peaceful routine, Maya. It's good to read different types of stories. I usually read at home, mostly in my bedroom on my favorite chair. It's quiet there and I can focus well. Sometimes I read in a coffee shop if I want a change of scenery, but I prefer quiet places. Where do you usually read, Maya? Maya. Reading at home in your favorite chair sounds very comfortable and perfect for focus, Noah. A coffee shop for a change is nice too. I usually read at home too, mostly on my couch in the living room. It's very cozy there. Sometimes I read outside in my garden when the weather is good. I like to read in a place where I feel relaxed. Do you prefer reading physical books or e-books, Noah? Noah. Reading on your couch or in the garden sounds very cozy and relaxing, Maya. It's great to have comfortable reading spots. I prefer reading physical books. I like the feeling of holding the book, turning the pages, and the smell of the paper. But I also have an e-reader for when I travel because it's lighter and I can carry many books. Do you prefer reading physical books or e-books, Maya? Maya. The feeling of holding a physical book, turning pages, and the smell of paper are definitely special, Noah. An e-reader for travel is very practical. I also prefer reading physical books. I like to see them on my bookshelf and I enjoy buying new books from a bookstore. But like you, I use an e-reader when I'm traveling or if I want to read a book that is very long. What other genres of books do you like, Noah? Besides philosophical books? Noah. The joy of physical books on a bookshelf and buying from bookstores is lovely, Maya. And e-readers for long books are very sensible. Besides philosophical books, I also like science fiction books. I enjoy stories about the future, space, and new technologies. I also like mystery novels because they make me think and try to solve the puzzle. What other genres of books do you like, Maya? Besides children's fiction? Maya. Science fiction for future worlds and mystery novels for solving puzzles are great choices, Noah. They sound very engaging. Besides children's fiction, I also like fantasy books. I enjoy stories about magic, mythical creatures, and other worlds like Harry Potter. I also enjoy historical fiction, which tells stories set in the past, often with real historical events. Do you read nonfiction books, Noah? Like books about history or science? Noah. Fantasy books for magic and historical fiction for stories set in the past are wonderful genres, Maya. It's great to explore different worlds. Yes, I do read nonfiction books sometimes. I enjoy reading books about history, especially ancient history. I also read books about science and how things work. Nonfiction helps me learn new facts and understand the world better. Do you read nonfiction books, Maya? Maya. Reading nonfiction about history and science to learn new facts and understand the world better is a great approach, Noah. Yes, I also read nonfiction books sometimes, but not as often as fiction. I usually read books about biographies of interesting people or books about self-improvement. I like to learn from other people's experiences. Do you have a favorite author, Noah? Noah. Biographies and self-improvement books for learning from others' experiences are very practical choices, Maya. It's good to learn from real lives. Yes, I do have a favorite author. My favorite author is Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, who wrote The Little Prince. I also like Isaac Asimov for his science fiction stories. Do you have a favorite author, Maya? Maya. Antoine de Saint-Exupéry and Isaac Asimov are excellent favorite authors, Noah. Their works are very different but both profound. Yes, I do have a favorite author. My favorite author is E.B. White, who wrote Charlotte's Web. His writing is so simple and beautiful. I also like J.K. Rowling for her Harry Potter series. Her world building is incredible. Do you ever reread books, Noah? Or do you always read new books? Noah. E.B. White and J.K. Rowling are fantastic choices, Maya. Simple and beautiful writing and incredible world building. Yes, I sometimes reread books, especially my favorites like The Little Prince. When I reread, I often notice new details or understand things in a different way. But most of the time I try to read new books because there are so many stories in the world. Do you ever reread books, Maya? Maya. Rereading books to notice new details and understand things differently is a great reason to do it, Noah. And it's true, there are so many new books to discover. Yes, I definitely reread books, especially Charlotte's Web, or some other beloved stories from my childhood. Feels like visiting old friends and it brings back good memories. But like you, I mainly read new books. Do you think books can teach us important life lessons, Noah? Noah. Rereading books for good memories and a feeling of visiting old friends is a lovely reason, Maya. Yes, I absolutely think books can teach us important life lessons. They can show us different perspectives, help us understand emotions, and teach us about history, culture, and human nature. They can inspire us and help us grow. Do you think books can teach us important life lessons, Maya? Maya. Books showing different perspectives, helping us understand emotions, and teaching about history and human nature are powerful benefits, Noah. They definitely inspire growth. Yes, I strongly believe books can teach us important life lessons. They allow us to experience situations and emotions without actually living them, which builds empathy. They can offer comfort, challenge our thinking, and show us how to be better people. Do you prefer reading alone or discussing books with friends, Noah? Noah. Books building empathy, offering comfort, challenging thinking, and showing us how to be better people are profound impacts, Maya. Yes, I usually prefer reading alone. It's a quiet, personal activity for me where I can fully immerse myself in the story. However, I also enjoy discussing books with friends after I finish them, to hear their opinions and share my own. Both are valuable. Do you prefer reading alone or discussing books with friends, Maya? Maya. Reading alone for immersion and discussing with friends for shared opinions are both great ways to enjoy books, Noah. I'm similar. I usually prefer reading alone. It's my quiet time, a personal escape. But I also really love to discuss books with friends who have read the same one. It's fun to analyze characters or debate plot points. It makes the experience richer. Do you think reading books is more important than watching movies? Noah. Reading alone for quiet escape and discussing with friends to enrich the experience are excellent points, Maya. It's great to share. That's a good question. I think reading books and watching movies are both important but in different ways. Books often give you more detail and let your imagination create the world in your mind. Movies give you a visual experience and they can be very impactful too. I think both are good for different moods. What do you think, Maya? Books or movies? Maya. That's a very balanced view, Noah. Books for imagination and detail, movies for visual impact. I agree that both books and movies are important and valuable for different reasons. I think books make you think more deeply and develop your vocabulary because you imagine everything. Movies are great for entertainment and quick stories. So, for learning and imagination, I think books are slightly more important. But for fun, movies are great. This has been a great chat about books. I've really enjoyed hearing about The Little Prince and your reading habits. Noah. Yes, it has been, Maya. I've really enjoyed hearing about Charlotte's Web, your favorite authors and your preferences for reading. It's always fun to talk about something we both enjoy so much. Maya. It definitely is, Noah. It makes me want to start a new book right now. Well, it was really nice talking to you about books. I should probably go make some tea and find a cozy reading spot. Noah. Of course, Maya. I understand completely. Enjoy your tea and your reading. It was really nice catching up with you and talking about all these great stories and authors. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Maya. You too, Noah. Maybe we can share book recommendations sometime. See you around soon. Noah. See you, Maya. Practice session. Your turn to speak. Narrator. Alright, it's your turn to practice. I'll ask you a question about books. Listen to my question, then say your answer aloud. Try to use the new phrases you heard today. What is your favorite book? Say its name now. Good. Now, what kind of book is it? E.g., fantasy, mystery, nonfiction. Excellent. One more. Why do you like it? Give one reason. Narrator. Fantastic work. Now just quickly repeat these 3 important phrases after me. My favorite book is. It's a fantasy book. I like it because it's interesting. Narrator. You're doing great. Keep practicing describing your favorite books in English. Conclusion. Narrator. Wow, you've done an incredible job today. You just practiced a very engaging and insightful topic. Describing your favorite book in English. You can now confidently talk about book genres, describe characters, give a basic plot summary, and explain what makes a book special to you. This is a tremendous step in your English journey. Remember to use these new phrases every day. The next time you read a book or someone asks about your favorite, try to describe it in English to yourself or a friend. Every time you practice, you're building real confidence step by wonderful step. Keep learning, keep speaking. Don't miss our next lesson in the beginner series. Goodbye for now.